Hello again, and welcome back to the Dev Plays The Crucible of Avarice, using the Animite Tales tabletop RPG system. Today is going to be a special bonus episode after episode 63. The last episode ended with the party about to fight the angels. However, we take a step back, a little bit back in time, to actually the point of which it's been now. It has been a week since episode 62, in game as well as out of game. Anarche has been doing all sorts of different bits and pieces around using his downtime, and so has Stan. However, Stan's clones, two of them, are currently in the lab as Stan went off to deal with the war room situation. Anarche was informed, however, he told Pinky that he would not be joining as he had to be doing part of his trials with the Ushima clan. As we currently pick up back with Anarche, it is currently roughly sort of like later on in the morning, around about 10, nearing 11. You are stood outside in sort of the near sort of the dojo area with Lord and Sasaki Ushima, as the two of them are sort of standing there sort of waiting for you. You've just now arrived as the two of them sort of look at each other and then look back at you. Accompanying with you is one of Stan's clones. As Stan, you were trying to speak to Anarche about a special project, but he said for you to tag along in case that he would get some time to speak to you then. As we come to you guys arriving, Stan, you feel now is the time to ask him ask him the question before it is too late.
No. Should probably some of your blood at some point.
Yeah, no, I've noticed you've been asking people for their blood. Is there the particular reason why? Is it for safety on my end?
I'm programming a weapon. In order to not target people, I need to use samples of their blood.
Right, okay. Are you planning to do anything else with it? Or is it just that?
I'm not currently planning to do anything else with it, but I can.
See, that's the only slight part that concerns me. I mean, you haven't done wrong by me so far, and you have been quite useful, so you know what? Sure, I'll agree to it.
After you agree to it, you've just now sort of walked in as the two of you have now sort of just seen Lord and Sasaki just sort of waiting. As Lord just sort of flags the two of you down, waving you over to come to him. I see that you have brought an audience member for this.
Yes, well, Stan wanted to ask me about something, so I had him accompany me, but it's up to him whether he stays for this or
not. Well, I'll stick around and observe. I might pick up some new data.
Well, there's nothing about the trials that necessarily need to be private. Not any of these ones, anyway. Right, so I should probably inform you of a few things before you get started. You have been recommended via the means of two members of the family of Ushima to forego the trials. So far, there are 3 different trials that you may be able to forego. The main thing that you should probably know about these trials are you cannot really know too much about any of the further trials until you have at least completed one. For instance, we will go for the first trial. Then, depending on how well you do it, will depend on whether or not you pass. If you pass that, you'll then be allowed to know about the second one, and then be allowed to take that. And finally, depending on how well you pass that, will depend on whether or not we can recommend you for the third. I will just let you know, however, the third trial is often not possible for anyone outside of the bloodline. But depending on how well you do, will depend on whether or not we can allow a secondary exception.
Very well.
Now, the first of three, I should probably say, is that we must help you understand proper form. First of all, we understand that you are knowledgeable in hand-to-hand combat.
You could say that, yes.
You are also capable of fighting with weaponry.
Indeed.
In this first trial, you must be able to fight against opponents using your hand-to-hand combat. But we're not going to just be doing some basic hand-to-hand combat training. You will be able to use any of the tools at your disposal that is utilizing the abilities of hand-to-hand melee proficiencies or other types of melee weapon proficiencies. However, you are not allowed to use your abilities to enhance them through the means of emission, nor transformation, or any other abilities other than enhancement powers, such as super strength, dexterity, or constitution.
Fair enough.
You may also only use the willpower path of the body for your any further enhancements during this.
Okay then.
And finally, any kind of weaponry that you use and utilize cannot have any special abilities any further than just being weapons. If they have any other elemental properties, other than their own material elemental properties, you must refrain from using them.
Okay then.
Now that we've gotten into that, I should also probably explain. I myself am here to watch this, but I will not be the only one who will be watching this. Sasaki will be fighting against you, but so will I. You will have to fight against 2 individuals, or potentially even more than that, in other types of physical combat. You must see exactly how far we can push you, or how far you can push us, using your own physical fighting capabilities. I would also ask for, perhaps even if it is possible, for Stan, for you to give us a hand with this. If you are able to perhaps give us a further combatant who can fight with physical combat.
Yeah. I guess.
You can decide whether or not it's an organic clone or if it's some kind of metal contraption. Any questions before we begin, okay?
No, I do not have any.
Well, nevertheless, Lord then sort of puts up his right hand, sort of mimicking that of a hand sign, as suddenly, like, he splits into 2 as he creates a singular clone of himself. This is my clone. My clone will be the one who fights you during this. I will be observing and making sure that I am at least out of the arrangements of this combat. Normally we would have more fighters fighting you, but I'm pretty sure that you're going to need stronger combatants to fight you without you, being considered for this role. So, there is at least 1 clone of mine. Sasaki will be fighting, and then also whatever Stan decides to throw at you or decides to do. So, Stan, what would you like to do?
We're allowed to do. It has to be just physical combat.
It has to be physical combatant, yeah. So you could make some, like, punching and kicking robots or something.
Some kung fu fighting robots.
Yeah. Everybody was kung fu fighting. Sorry.
Think about
Say again, sorry?
this. Maybe I could try and. I guess I could try and produce some kind of robot.
You could try and produce some kind of robot.
Yeah.
I mean, you could make some. You can make some basic. Because thanks to your tech shifter, you can make. You can make stuff. So you could potentially just make some robots that are just. Sort of. I mean, to be fair, you understand cybernetics, so there's an argument to be had that maybe you could use your ultimate mastery for the day and create a few different sort of versions of yourself that are just completely made out of robot parts.
Turbo Stan. Stan Dev Stan.
Stan with Devastan.
Cool. You know what, Joe, I assume I'm not in any transformation at the moment.
No, you're not.
Okay. One thing I will ask is I will ask to pull out the twin split staff that I have.
Okay.
So I believe that's the only weapon that doesn't basically amplify anything passively. So
I will say, when he meant about that, in the terms of the elemental thing, he meant as in something that doesn't passively deal energy damage or deal fire.
Yeah, actually, I don't think I have anything that does passively energy damage.
No. So, in other words, what he was saying is don't use any weapons that do passive elemental damage. The only weapon that does passive elemental damage is actually your axe.
Yeah.
Okay, Bill, so you can either make 6 clones, because they're all like 2 meters each, and they're compacted with all of these sort of things. So it's like basically 1 meter worth of tech and another meter worth of tech, and it creates the body. Or you can divide that 12 into a certain amount of clones with X amount of additional bits of tech in them. So it's up to you. I'll let you sort of have a think about that whilst just sort of finishing up this last bit with Kane. So for Anarche,
yeah, so it's just basically no passive energy stuff. So I can theoretically use any weapons as long as I don't.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. You can, if you really want to, you can empty out your Bogger Dimension of all of your different weapons, but barring your axe, and then just use them as and how you want. However you really want to go about it. Either that or just pull up one weapon. I mean, if you want, you can use the split staff, but it's up to you.
You know what? Sure, I'll put everything around me, so I have all my options available except the axe.
Okay. So you've got Glint,
Shimmer, Swartle.
The large Swartle of the Katana, which I don't think we've got a name for.
Yeah, it's just Katana.
Okay.
That sword I started with.
Yeah, that's fair enough. So all of those are around you. That's fair enough. Okay, so for Stan, how are you doing this with your 12 transformation, 12 transfigured objects?
Make way.
Say again, sorry. You're very, very quiet.
Am I?
Yeah.
Weird.
I've turned up your volume to like 190%.
Wow. Yeah, I could just make like three stands with Stan Dev Stan.
Okay. Three stands with Stan Devastan. Okay. Cool. Alright, so that's that. So you've created those walk up. So around you now in Arcade is the clone of Lord, Sasaki, and 3 robo-stands. Now, with this to begin, it's obvious that you won't exactly be able to indefinitely kill us or defeat us with just your own abilities alone. However, what I would like you to do is either cause for the opponents to be placed on the ground and or knocked unconscious. So in other words, you need to defeat us by putting us prone, so to speak.
Well, okay then. Should be interesting.
However, considering this is a clone and those 3 are robots, death is not exactly out of the cards, but I wouldn't recommend it, considering if you were conserving any energy for this trial, you don't want to expend all of it trying to kill 1 out of the 5.
No, I'll play ball. I won't kill anyone.
Very well. So
You could kill the robots, I don't care.
So, one question I should probably say then, the machines, how much durability would they have?
Is a fair question.
We could do your mimicry damage and times it by 2. That's their health, rather than durability.
I guess so, yeah.
And then you can, if you want, you can just roll it once. So I think 3d10s times 2, or 3d10 star 2, and then we'll have that for all of them, so that they're all the exact same. Unless if you do want to roll them separately. Actually, yeah, 3d10s times 2, because then at least it's a lot easier for me to calculate.
Well, I mean, it's 2d10.
Oh, it's 2d10, okay.
Yeah, because my tech is usually the thing that's 3d10.
Ah, okay, cool. Are you going to roll for it?
Yeah, I'm just looking for the...
Okay. Alright. So, sum total of 120, but each of them have 40 each. Okay, in that case, I'm going to say roll initiative. So, Bill, your machines will have the same move speed as you, so just roll for your move speed. Kane, obviously, for an arcade's move speed, and I'll roll for these 2 guys' move speed. Okay, 14 and 21. I got 18 and 17, so Stan will be going first, and Arcade will be going last. And then I will be going in the middle.
Yep.
Okay, Stan, take it away.
How do these things actually work, stats-wise? And do they have... Because they're, like, technically made of Dan. They can they manipulate themselves?
So the way that it would work is that these guys would probably work like non-fleshy versions of Stans. So in other words, they have their shape-shifting, tech-shifting abilities. They would be physically the same stats as him. I guess.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, if you have any recipes of technology that, based on cybernetics or something, which you could then base them on, but I assume that you don't really have any specifically. I will say, though, functionally, when you throw down, when you actually land attacks, it'll base it off of the mimicry damage, because obviously that's the whole point of the mimicry damage dice.
Not too much. Yeah, I guess one of them will... We're not allowed to, like, fly, are we?
I mean, look, it doesn't really matter too much as long as what you're doing isn't necessarily to try and do ranged attacks. I would recommend not using flight, because then that really sort of neutralizes the whole point of this.
Yeah, I'm not gonna use flight, but I'm gonna make, like, a sort of jet thruster on the first stand.
Okay.
So these guys have the same SP rules. Like,
Yeah, they'll have the same roles as the clones, yeah.
does it count as having 2 clones or 5 clones?
It still counts as 2 clones, because these guys don't have the same kind of health, and they don't have the healing factor power, they only have the shape-shifting power.
They have no soul.
Okay, so one creates a jetpack on its back, so it can basically, like, do, like, you know, it has a thruster on its back. Okay.
I guess it will try and, like, run around and then pick up speed and jet thrust and punch the back of an arcane.
Okay. I guess I just roll SP again to, like, try and attack him. And then an arcade. It's your your reaction.
My reaction. Yeah. Well, they're both +10, so it doesn't really matter in this instance. So I'll try and use my martial arts thing because it's a melee strike. The deflective thing.
Oh, well, the flowing fist one.
Yeah.
Okay. Roll for it. I forgot that you're a master of martial arts, though. That's actually something I always forget. Nice, and that is 5 above.
So you have to add your damage bill onto this.
So you'll be rolling your damage, Kane, and obviously Stan will be rolling his damage. Obviously you'll just be rolling your martial arts damage.
Yeah. So it should just be that.
Okay. I mean, even with you getting a crit, it won't destroy him.
No.
No. Actually, oh shoot!
32.
Yeah, no, I forgot. Yeah, because the thrust damage as well. Yeah, okay, so 32. So the robot takes 32. Since I would assume that doesn't break your original vitality, I'm going to say that it doesn't break this vitality. But what it does do is, like, as you hit it, it does sort of like crack slightly as it sort of like falters to the right of him as you sort of see this thing launch around you, spinning around you to pick up speed, and then just suddenly, like, launch towards you. As you grab it by the wrist and then sort of rotate your body and slam your fist into its chest as something cracks underneath, and thankfully it's not one of your own fingers. As the robot sort of just, like, slightly sparks and falters for a bit as it sort of goes back into sort of a sort of fighting stance, now much closer to you. You still have 2 left, Bill.
I will try a similar thing with the other one.
Okay, so transforming the back into a thruster and then trying the same?
Yeah, I'll activate the stand as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good lord, okay.
Man.
I mean, you can try.
Even if I get an actual 20, it still fails, right? Because the modifier is still technically.
My rolls
out
other
as
than
mine.
that too are not too bad at the minute, but that's only
No.
because I'm not really playing.
Yeah.
It's up to you. It's up to you if you want to take the hit or if you want to at least try.
I'll take the hit only because technically by rules as well, attacks still win even if they outdo the number, and because I literally cannot beat his number. I would.
The most I could give you is that it would be an equivalent clash. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll just take the hit.
Fair enough.
What is it that doubles?
The first 2d10s.
Okay.
So it'd be technically 6d10s.
Yeah. And then 46. Because...
Oh, because the stand does more damage. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, okay. 63. Does that break your vitality?
I think it might. No, it's exactly my vitality.
So it doesn't break your vitality, but you do take
No.
63
63.
points of damage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. As you have taken 63 points of damage from this thing as it launches towards you, and it suddenly moves even faster as it sort of almost vanishes and reappears as it punches you right in the gut. As it sort of knocks back just a couple of inches, as you grind to a halt on your feet, as the wind is taken out of you for a second.
Damn, I knew those things could move fast.
So it's now for the other turn of the other one.
Yeah, I'm gonna activate this thing, stand. And then I think I'll try and make it sort of run towards Anarche and grab him by the legs.
Okay. I guess roll grapple, and I guess Anarche, what would you like to do?
My amazing grapple has no bounds.
Oh damn, there's some amazing grapple. I don't know if this would work. If I used the deflective thing and got 10 or above, could I essentially just use the momentum of it to flip it into one of the other stands?
I'd say so.
Okay. I will try and do that then.
I will just let you know it is... Oh, actually... Yeah, what is it? Is it disadvantage if someone has any super... If they don't have any?
You need a super dex or a super perception.
Yeah,
okay.
So I'd have to roll disadvantages in this instance.
Yeah. I mean, basically get equal to or greater than what you just rolled and you'd basically succeed. So in other words, just... Oh, okay, there you go, 15, yeah. So, yeah, as you try... As this droid just tries to run and grab your legs, you sort of go over to his shoulder and then sort of do a flip as you then grab his left shoulder, and then just as soon as your feet touch the ground, you then twist and throw him into the other one. As it does so, it hits into the one beside it. Both roll me I guess both of them roll me a dexterity. I'm going to say finesse. Actually, no, acrobatics. Both of them need to be roll me in acrobatics. So I guess it's 2d20s plus whatever your acrobatics is. Bill? Oh, okay. Yeah, both of them are knocked prone. As they both clash to the ground. Both of them knocked prone as Lord, who's the original Lord who was actually sat down, he just says, "Okay, 2 of you are out. Continue." As the clone just goes, well done there, old chap. But now it's time to see if you can take more of a thrashing, as then suddenly you notice that his right arm suddenly bulks up and gets stronger as he goes to try and throw a punch. How would you like to react?
I'll do the same, and I'll try and judo throw him into the other station. If I can get 5 or above.
Fair enough.
I mean, it's only an 18, so probably not. But...
No. As you take... Oh, wow, okay. No, that was a really bad label. As you take 45 points of damage as he hits you right in the face with this incredible punch as you get launched backwards, as you slam into one of your swords, as your sword was stuck in the ground, you slam into your sword. It doesn't cut you as you do hit the flat of it, but it then gets knocked onto the floor as you sort of roll around for a second, sort of disorientated, and then sort of realise that, like, although he hit you quite hard, it's just more the fact that he hit you in the face and you weren't sort of exactly ready for it. You don't...
What? How much damage was that again? Sorry.
45.
Okay.
As it is now Sasuke's turn. As Sasuke runs towards you and immediately starts dashing towards you, trying to do some kind of like flying kick.
People love those moves.
Yes, they do, yeah.
It's a shame I don't have a reactive grapple anymore. That would be extremely useful in this situation.
I mean, obviously you can still use the flowing attack.
Yeah, I can. Yeah. Sam, look, I don't think there's anything on that hand I have, but it's actually. No. So I will use the reversing thing again.
Okay.
17.
Ooh, 17. Okay, the dice spot is suddenly being a little awkward. It won't actually do it. Nope, 21. As you then get kicked, taking 20 damage.
Ow.
As it is now your turn. So after this has happened, you've been attacked by the androids, the standroids, if you will. You've been attacked by the standroids. You've dealt a huge whopping amount of damage to the first one. The second one then sort of vanishes, appears, punches you in the stomach. The third one then tries to grab you by the legs, but you're able to throw him into the one that you damaged. Those two are out. So the only one that is left of the ones that are allowed to stay in this competition is now the second one that is still fully functional. Then you were struck by Lord with a super strength attack, and then it seems as though you were then kicked by Sasuke with a flying kick. The closest one that you are is to Sasuke, and then Lord is about 3 meters away from you, and then 4 meters away from you is then the final standroid.
Alright. Well, I think I'm just going to spend this turn buffing myself instead. So first, I'll just roll for basic willpower armament.
Okay.
So I just need a 10 or above for, which I get.
Nice. Nice.
And then I'm going to roll for the stat conversion, my level 10 ability.
Ooh, okay.
So I only need a 10 for above for, which I get.
Nice.
And with that, I'm going to convert 2 points of my strength and all my super strength. So I'm down to 16 regular strength.
Okay.
So plus 4. But I will have 20 regular strength. 20 regular dex and plus 6 super dex.
Okay, nice. So you'll have plus 12 to any dex-based rolls.
Yes.
Okay,
nice.
nice.
I will get in my stance and prepare.
As that happens, your body starts like convulsing and then suddenly shaping slightly differently, as you have now become a little bit more fluid in the way that you sort of move, but also now your muscles are sort of condensed a bit. As this happens, Lord even just sort of makes a note of this by saying, "Impressive. You actually have an ability that allows you to change your own muscle structure. That kind of an ability is not exactly easy to perform."
No, nor is it one I like to use often either.
I'll keep that in mind. As it is now the final standroid's turn.
Try and activate the stand, speed around a bit, and then jump up and kind of thrust from upwards on a downwards trajectory to try and smack him to the floor.
Okay. Roll SP. Nice.
I think you got.
as you launch towards him, sort of moving at incredible speeds, and then suddenly launching down, so up and then down. As that's happening, what would you like to do, Anake, as your reaction?
I'll use the same thing again, except if I can essentially, I want to try and essentially use his momentum to sort of get him to drop to the floor instead. So I'm not necessarily looking to damage him, but more just to redirect it to screw him over on his landing.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Oh, I can roll plus 12 now. This is a dex-based thing. Oh, I get a natural 1 instead, so...
as you slam towards him, roll damage, Stan.
Damage.
Now, on the bright side, this won't hurt you as much because of that.
No.
So that then goes to 32. That then gets halved, so that's 16. So you take 16 points of damage.
Yeah.
That being said, it is now the turn of Lord, who basically teleports in front of you to quickly try and hit you with a very fast attack. How would you like to react?
A very fast attack. I guess it's difficult because damage is not really worth it in this scenario. So I think I'll just use the same reaction. It's not.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah. Wow.
Only just. So this is a. So what technique is this again?
This is the defensive style. I'll read what it actually says because I know 5 or above is what allows it to do the extra damage.
Yeah.
I think all this does is it's his damage.
Okay.
Because if I get 5 or above, I get to add the extra damage on top of it.
Okay. So as he goes in for a flurry of blows, you dodge them as he tries to hit you once and then twice. As you sort of dodge the first one, and as the second one comes in, you sort of like slide your arm up and then uppercut him. As you sort of do so, you deal his damage back to him. He sort of like goes backwards for a sec. As then Sasaki tries to go in for another attack towards you. How would you like to react to this one?
What sort of attack is he doing? Is it just like a regular punch?
It seems as though it's some kind of specialized chop.
Oh, okay. In that case, yeah, I would like to try and if it's like a down, is it downwards chop or like a?
It's an upwards chop, so he's like sort of going into the side. It looks as though he's trying to go for the side of your neck.
Oh, okay. If that case, then I'll use the same. But again, if I get fire above, I'd like to try and put him on his back.
Yeah, sure. Yep.
25.
As you sort of grab his arm, you sort of turn his whole body sort of round, and then as you do that, you sort of kick the back of his leg with one of yours, and then slam him down to the ground, as then you just hear a voice saying, Sasaki is out, as it's now your turn.
Alright. Well, I need to roll 2 rolls to see if the willpower armor and the shape thing keeps. So I shall roll it in the order I rolled it, so armament and then...
That's right.
So yes.
Yeah, that's fine.
And... Yes.
So I'm pretty sure the Master Skill does take up an action, but the Willpower Armament doesn't.
Yes, I believe so. So...
You have 1 action left.
Yeah. You know what? I will use my Yes, you know what? I will use my Mirage omnidirectional strike. 20 plus. Essentially what it allows me to do is it's the anyone within my move speed, I can essentially choose like an area within that and then attack.
Okay.
However, the Mirage technique doubles my movement speed, so it becomes 50. So I have a 50-meter area to choose.
Okay.
So I'm basically gonna do like Ark is basically gonna take a picture out of Stan and start like moving super fast to try and essentially create after images sort of things, and then essentially I'm just gonna try and go for sweeps on both of the Lord and the Stan to try and just knock them over.
Oh, are you able to hit multiple people in this at the same time?
Yes, that's the entire point of the ability. Is I choose areas and then it attacks everyone. So.
Oh, nice. Yeah, go for it. I guess is that a hand to hand or is that a?
This one is martial arts.
Okay,
so.
cool. Yeah, go for it. You can roll Dex or martial arts for this.
22.
Nice. And what do they have to get to not be knocked? Is it just a reaction?
Yeah, I believe it's just a reaction of their choice. So.
Okay, fair enough. Stan, you choose yours and I'll choose mine.
I guess he'll just try and jet jump over it.
Okay, roll for yours. Okay, so you do indeed dodge it, so you sort of go towards him, sort of creating an after image, and Stan just jumps right upwards. As you get to Lord, he dodges perfectly, and as he's dodging, he then turns to look at you. As his eyes meet yours, just eye-to-eye contact as he's doing that, and then he sort of takes one step sideways to just sort of stand right next to you. As that's the end of your turn, it is now back down to Stan. Stan, you have landed back on the ground.
I'll try and I can stand up Stan anyway, but I'll try and transform his arms into kind of wiry springs, and try and wrap them around an arm.
Okay. Roll SP.
I guess mainly his legs.
Okay. And then I guess a Narke.
I guess I'll try and roll acrobatics to not get.
Thanks.
Yeah, you don't get grappled. That is definitely that. As I believe that is the end of your turn, Stan. Yes, yeah. Okay. As that now comes down to... as that now comes down to that, we now come back to Lord, as he's now going to try... pretty much what his clone is now doing is sort of watching until you sort of land, and as he does that, he sort of darts towards you, and again moves at incredible speed to try and hit you with a strike.
Okay. I don't know if this would be allowed. I don't know what this would be, but is there a way I'd be able to take the hit? But my goal is less to stop his attack, but more to, as he's landing the attack, sort of take the hit and grip him as my thing. So I'm not. My reaction is not to try and stop his attack. It's essentially to knock him over. So even if I fail or succeed, I will still take his hit. It's just more to use the momentum he's done to hit me to essentially take him off his feet.
I'd say you'd still probably have to use the defensive style that you did before. I'd say... I'd say the best I could probably do is you'll take the damage, you don't have to get 5 or above.
Okay.
But then I'd still have to roll his balance against yours, although...
That's fine. Yeah,
okay. Yeah, so roll for it. Wow, okay, you didn't even need it. As he goes in for this strike at high speeds, you sort of just turn ever so slightly, go under his arm, you put your leg behind his, and then use that momentum, grab him, and then immediately slam him down face first. As you put one of your legs behind and in front of them, sort of entangle them. Your left leg goes behind his left leg, in front of his right leg. You grab him from the back of his head, and then sort of pull your feet from out from under his leg as he suddenly then slams into the ground. As Lord then goes, I can't believe it, but Lord is out. That's a very weird sentence to say. You have one more opponent left, as it is now an Arcane's turn.
Starting to get warmed up now. Again, I'll roll for the 2 abilities, armor, and then the leveled body change.
Yep. Nice. Works.
21. And plus 10. Okay, so my dexterity ends.
Yep, your super dexterity ends, your strength goes back to normal, and so does your super strength, as you feel a clutch of pain throughout your body, as it's first of all, it's not a natural technique that you're doing this, but also, all of your muscles sort of expand outwards, and suddenly, almost like as if your entire body becomes like an elastic band snapping, or at the very least returning to its original shape and size, as you feel a deep pain all throughout your body for a short second. Sharp pain, but it's now over.
Alright, I'm gonna... How far away is this Stan?
Stan is in front of you, pretty much a meter at most away from you.
Okay. I'm gonna move slightly closer, and then I'm gonna punch the floor, and basically my goal is to obviously break the floor around him to force a loss of balance.
Okay, roll strength. I'd say you can potentially even add labour to it, but don't you have labour?
I don't believe so. I don't actually know what... I'm gonna be honest, I don't even know what... actually, doesn't Arcane have... I think he might have labour. I'm trying to think. Have a look. Because I know he has accurate... I think he had acrobatics. I'm just gonna add it normal because I don't know at the minute. So
okay.
I will just plus 11 it for now. 17.
We're getting advantage now because of the standover stand.
You don't believe? Oh yes, yeah, no, because you did.
It's got no super dex anymore.
Yeah. So this is advantage.
I guess he'll just try and jet jump above him.
Okay.
Wow, 17.
Wow. 17. It matches. Since this is an evasion, by rules of evasion, you actually fail. So as you're about to sort of jet jump, he punches into the ground. The rocks beneath your feet cave in ever so slightly and rumble as you try and jet blast out into a different distance. You actually jet blast yourself into the ground. As you are also made prone, as Lord sort of jumps up and goes, "Well done! You have defeated your enemies," as all of them lying across the ground of the dojo, and now a cracked sort of chunk of the ground as your fist is pulled out of this dusty rock. You have passed the first test. Thank you, Stan droids, for your help. We might need you a little bit later, so definitely stick around.
I might make them all assimilate into one stand.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't know what that would do.
Bigger Stan.
Bigger Stan. Stanostroidus.
It's just Stan with three heads, extra arms, extra
It's
legs.
Usher Stan.
Yeah.
Ashura Stan, there we go. Yeah, fair enough, I'll let you roll for that, and whilst that's going on, Anarche and Lord Anarche and Sasuke sort of like convene as he then says, "So, during this time, what exactly did you learn?"
Well, I had to learn how to utilize everything at my disposal. I had to watch my opponents carefully, analyze their strat, and how to use their own abilities against them in the moment. Also, even if I'm at a disadvantage, I had to figure out creative ways to get around those issues.
Interesting. Something that I would have potentially have said is perhaps looking at my opponent a little differently. I noticed that whilst this was happening, you were a lot less cocky and confident. You didn't think of yourself as definitely going to win. You more looked at this as a stratagem of different things that you needed to improve on during the battle. I'd say that that's at least something. Considering the first time that I met you, the first thing that you thought was, "Oh boy, I can't wait to see if I get to fight this man." You also thought that once Fergus returned, it was just another Tuesday. Which is hilarious because it was a Monday.
It was? Ah, shit.
My point being is that most of the time that you look at other people or opponents, you often missize their abilities to the point of which that you don't even believe that they're strong enough. So perhaps it is something.
I'll take those words into consideration.
I hope that you do. Now, that being said, it is possible that we could perhaps seek out further training methods, but for now, I'd say that you've passed this first trial. Now, the only real question is, are you willing to go to the second trial?
You know what? Sure. Why not?
Well, that's definitely good to hear. Now, first things first, we need to get you cleaned up. As he sort of waves his hand as you sort of feel your pain leave your body as you feel he's healing you.
Ah.
As after a couple of minutes of him continuously doing this, eventually you're healed back up to maximum.
Okay.
Now, I should probably let you know about a few things. The first was of body. You needed to be able to understand your own as well as your opponent's physical factors, physical capabilities, limitations, and even how you would be able to use your own body to fight against others. Now that you have done that, we can now start working on the soul, or the spirit. This is something that is quite important to a fighter. Now, often we use certain abilities such as willpower to be able to extend this. This will be one of the tools that you will be allowed to use in the next particular trial. But above all else, the Ushimar clan pride themselves on the spirit of their own power. For instance, I am the first of my lineage to have these abilities in the way that we do. Once I then had my first 5 children, they had the same power of copying, but they were given a secondary ability. Because of this, the Ushimar clan's prized ability was therefore ability observation. Now, one of the things that we tried to pride ourselves on is learning techniques over generations to come. I know that you've learned and even copied techniques from both my kin, but also from others as well, who have similar abilities to yourself. I believe Showering Light was its name?
Yes. I mean, it still is, but yes.
On top of that, you were able to learn the Storm God's Visage, which is Majura's ability, and you've recently learned techniques from Sasuke. despite this, you are actually a lot closer to being us, or being similar to our kin, than you realize it. Abilities used over time and copied from generation to generation, you have some of them, which therefore leads me to believe that it's possible for you to also have an ability that is extensive as ours, or at least similarly in the terms of its extensiveness. You already have super strength, and with your own creativity, you've been able to come up with different ways in which that you can change that from dexterity to con to strength. So again, your super strength has already been changed through your creativity. On top of this, you then also have energy generation and manipulation, and you also recently used an ability based on your pocket dimension called Phantom Zone. So
Yes.
far, any of this striking any bells?
I mean, the techniques are here.
Right, okay. My point is that I have so far shown you what it is that you are possible of doing, because these are the things that you are able to do. The next thing that we're going to be doing is that you will be using these abilities to fight other people with their own. This is probably going to be where you shine best, since this is the majority of your powers. So of course, again, you'll be fighting people with ranged capabilities. Your goal is to overpower us, and again, force us to go prone, or at least knock us out or defeat us. Again, you'll have to fight a multitude of us. But considering that, as he looks over at Stan, the Robo-Stan Ajura of the three combined creatures, considering that amalgamation monster is, well, that, you'll be fighting against three of us this time. Me, Sasaki again, and, as he looks back over at the monstrous abomination of machine, that.
Should I put my weapons away?
It is up to you if you wish to use your weapons or not, although I think it best to put them away, considering I know that most, if not all of them, can enhance your capabilities and damage output.
Yeah, I'll put them away.
He leaves you some time so that you then put all of your weapons away. Also on top of this, I hate to ask, but you must also make sure that the Miracle Stone is not in use during this time.
Yep, I can do that.
By the way, where exactly is it?
I don't really know if you want to know it.
He let me put it this way. He reads your mind. Where have you put it?
So we were talking about the Kimberly thing.
Ah, okay. So it's somewhere either in your mouth or in your digestive tract.
Yep. Probably in the mouth somewhere.
Okay, so it's in your mouth, okay.
Yeah.
Fascinating. And you've had to try and... Wait a minute. But the stone is supposed to give you quite the capacity for enhancing your abilities. If he then stops talking, and then he sort of goes into your mind and speaks to you through this means. So it's only the two of you that can hear this conversation, as he says. But if that's true, that means that you've been using the Miracle Stone, or at the very least holding back all of the Miracle Stone's additional power.
Oh yeah, it wouldn't be fair if I used it.
This might be quite interesting. He then ceases the telepathic discussion. If that's the case, and you're able to defeat me and my kin in the way that I've just stated, then you should be more than worthy of the third trial. So, let's get this underway. As I'm going to take a quick break.
Oh, fair enough.
If you guys still wish to discuss things, you absolutely can.
Can I assume I can't get a cheeky transformation in.
Cheeky transformation? Sure. I'm just going to quickly pop downstairs because I just quickly need a drink.
No, that's fine. I'll just do the normal transformation.
I'm gonna make a bunch of rumble rods in his arms, because he's got a lot of arms.
Oh. Why haven't you done this before? It's a genius idea.
I know, it's hilarious.
Wait, hang on. If you could make like a pilot suit for it, and then we put Anarchy or someone inside of it.
Like, it's not interesting. I need to make a Megazord.
Oh, yes, please. Love a Megazord. What if that's just the
Crafting
island?
requirements, 50 mechanical stands.
Brilliant. Can we just turn the island? I know you had other plans. But can we just turn the island to a Megazord? It just.
Yes.
I'm not quite sure what would happen to its inhabitants, but that seems like an issue to worry about afterwards.
It's not our problem.
No. I'm sure you can just confine them all somewhere.
Yeah.
Ah, yes. What other plans do you plan to do with this stand? I'm a bit concerned.
He's just gonna be really goofy.
goofy time.
He's gonna have, all of his jet thrusters and stand-over stands and move around at super speed and blast in every direction.
just takes out everyone. I see you're going for that
when,
team
Zora does
Slayer.
that, he spins around. He's got the Usher thing going on.
Oh, yeah. Man. Yes, Joe's been a while.
Yes.
Wonder if he got that cool.
Managed to wind up those 1,500 gems.
Oh, nice.
And I bought the 3 copies of the structure deck.
Nice.
All for the sake of fusion deployment. But
Well,
there's
I mean,
still a ton of yours,
there always is.
So many.
You never ever get the URs you need most of the time.
No.
Or if you do, there's always more that come out, and then everything changes.
It's true.
Okay, I'm now back. What were you guys talking
One
about?
of those Dogmatica boss monsters, because I think you only need one per deck.
Are you guys talking about Yu-Gi-Oh? I've just literally got back, and the first thing that I hear is...
Yeah.
Because we were already talking about the game, Joe, but you weren't here, so...
Yeah. It was the
Okay.
game silenced for about 2 minutes, and then Yu-Gi-Oh!
Ah, okay. Alright, I'm now back. Where did we leave off? So you use your ability for your
Making a bunch of
transformation.
Rumble Rod arms, because he's got
okay.
a lot of arms.
Yeah. And I just did a cheeky normal transformation with no
Okay.
willpower stuff infused.
Okay. Although, as he said, willpower was allowed.
Yes, but the issue is my other one has body infused.
Ah, okay, you're taking it very seriously. Okay.
Yes, so I literally, unless I'm breaking the rules, I can't do it. So
Okay. And then I guess, Bill, are you using your transform? You're rolling to try and turn limbs into? I'll allow you to roll 3 times because that's 3 bodies.
Yeah.
Although this will not be based on your action economy later on in the actual combat. Oh wow! Okay.
What's going on with the? It's got the 2 thrusters and the 3 stand ever stand.
And now 3 rumble rods.
Yes.
Good lord. Okay.
It's just got 2 really girthy legs.
I like how you've gotten a natural 20 there, but still nothing above 10 unless if it's a natural 20. Although then again, you did get that. You did get that.
you did get a few above 10 earlier.
Mm-hmm.
My roll's been a lot better now than they will be next session.
Yes.
It's because it's team slaying. That's always how it works.
Okay, so you're now back up to maximum health. The current stand that you've done there has about 87 health.
Yeah.
So it's now down to that. So I guess, yeah, roll initiative again.
All right.
I forget, not that it matters much, but I think it has a bit of physical. Well, just resistance.
Okay.
I got the same initiative as last time.
You did. This time Sasaki actually got a 13, but Lord got 20, so Lord's going first this time. So first off, once all of you are sort of like around an arcade, you sort of transformed as he then goes, very well. He places his hands together, and then once he opens them up, a ball of fire appears as he then just launches it straight towards you.
Wow.
Bit rude.
I know.
How would you like to react?
The audacity on this man. Throwing fire at me. How would I like to... You know, I'll use the phasing light ability.
Okay.
I'll try and... try and redirect it at Sasaki.
Ooh, okay.
$28.
Beautiful. Yeah, roll. Actually, no, you don't roll anything, do you?
It's
I
just
roll
his
things.
damage, yeah, and Sasaki gets hit.
So you're launching this at Sasaki. So.
Well, I could launch it back at Lord.
I thought I misheard you. So you did say Sasuke, okay?
Okay. Yeah, I did say Sasuke. Yeah, so I'm just redirecting so Sasuke gets to see what he can do. I'm basically opening the portal and then opening it at Sasuke.
Well, it does actually. I mean, that is actually quite an interesting thing. I actually didn't realize this. Let me roll from. Wow. Okay. So as it's redirected at him, he creates a large sort of blade of electricity from his hand and slices it up. As it does so, it sort of dispels the fire's ability, and as it sort of explodes, it's sort of like pushed away from him. As it sort of reveals like electricity sort of over him, sort of protecting him from this explosion. As Lord just goes, portals, interesting. As it is now Stan's turn.
Okay. I mean, I guess I'll activate the old stand-up stand. I'll try and I guess make one of the barrels around one of the rumble rods into like a sort of extended ion thingy. Because why not?
Okay, roll for it. An extended ion barrel has been extended from the end of one of your arms.
Yeah, and then I guess I'll just start blast them.
Okay, roll for it. And then Nanake, how would you like to deal with that?
How do I want to deal with this sonicness?
Well, we're still waiting for the roll from Stan,
I
but
can't remember. Wait, does Nake have a super reaction thing?
well, he doesn't have. So he doesn't have super dexterity, but nor does he have super wisdom. But he does technically have passive energy sense.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would necessarily count because.
I
mean, it means that
will or something.
Yeah, I mean, it means I don't have to keep up with your movements with like hearing, seeing, or anything.
Although this thing is also not actually technically alive.
No, all I can know is Stan. All I can see is so
it gives off a small amount of life force, considering it's basically
Yeah.
like a walking, talking power stone. But that's about it.
it's down to you then at this point, isn't it?
I'd
Whether it counts as a...
I'd say it's not enough for the stand ever stand.
Okay.
But I'd say it would be a Narke that rolls disadvantage, not Stan that rolls advantage. Considering this is just firing a gun.
Yeah, fair enough.
Why has he gun? The gun is not firing very well.
No.
The gun is fired.
Alright.
How would you like to react against this?
I wanna... I'm gonna use the portal ability again. And, I assume at this point my reaction is against the shot, because the shot has already been fired.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna make a portal beneath me and then one behind Stan, so I reappear behind him.
Okay. Roll for it. Which is again disadvantage.
Yeah, a natural one. I mean,
Good
I wouldn't
Lord.
have succeeded anyway with a 2 or a 1, so I mean...
No.
It's bad luck against worse luck.
Yeah.
Roll damage, I guess, Stan.
That's the worst luck I've ever had. A 2 and a 1. Yeah.
28. Yeah, you take 28 points of damage. Okay.
Things a little.
It does sting a little, as it's now your turn, Anarche.
Oh yes, I forgot. So I'm automatically going to activate the Stormlord's Vigors around me.
Okay.
However, I'm gonna try and make it more like an armor, so it's less like a super external thing, more like just coating me, if that makes sense.
Okay, sort of like an actual like condensed armor around your body rather than a mech. It's actually more like an armor. Yeah, you can do that. Okay. And that's just obviously your bonus action thing.
That's my bonus action, yes. Yep. This one, however, because this one is the willpower infused variant.
Okay.
Because that is the one I made the bonus action. So.
Yep.
Alright. And in that case. I feel like I haven't caused enough environmental damage, so Joe, you might recognize what I'm doing here. I'm going to put my hand on the floor, and then using energy, I want to do a bunch of like slices into the floor.
Okay.
In like sort of a spider web pattern.
Yes.
Yes, and basically, again, using the same strat, cause the disfooting of pretty much everyone but me.
Interesting. Roll for it, and I guess since these guys will all be affected, they are allowed to roll some kind of reaction. So,
Yes.
roll for it. Stan, you will be allowed to roll with advantage considering that the Stan Devastan.
Yeah, I guess I'll try and Beyblade into the air out of the way, you know.
I mean, that's a pretty cool way.
I don't know why, but I've now just assumed that one of the jet thrusters is on one part of the chest, the other one is on the back, and they're just horizontal but also slightly diagonal. So when they do so, they spin the top half of the body.
And we got a 21.
So no. I also got a 20 from one of them. I'm now rolling for the other one.
So 2 of them.
21! Holy cow! 20, 21, and 21. Yeah, okay. Since yours wins, yeah, you indeed do this. You slice apart the ground, and the entire ground just begins to fall beneath them as they do indeed lose their footing. Since this isn't technically an attack, you still have one action left.
Oh.
And since you succeeded, so obviously normally, say for instance, if this had failed, this would have just ended your turn because it's still something that affects them. But yeah, so so since this has succeeded against all 3 of them, you are allowed your second action of this turn.
So they're all falling down essentially, or are they all?
Yeah, they're all basically falling down as you've basically sliced apart a bunch of the floor and turned it into chunks of rubble.
All right. Hmm. You know what? No, I won't use that ability. Instead, I basically want to do a large AoE energy, but more pushing it down. So again, essentially creating a force of energy that forces them down as well.
Okay.
To keep them prone.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Roll for it. I'm going to say... Oh.
No.
No.
So don't worry about that.
So as they all fall, I'm now going to have to ask to roll... I'm going to say acrobatics for these 3. So Stan, roll acrobatics, and I'll roll acrobatics for these guys.
It's never working, is it?
No. I think that also might be the answer from mine as well. Yep. Only one of them out of 3 of them actually are still standing from this, as it is Sasuke. The ground sort of unfolds beneath them, as the clone of Lord is just sort of staggers and then just falls to the ground because it just happens so quickly. Stan's robot is just its feet are just entirely engulfed under these chunks of rubble, and it's just struggling to get out. But the Sasuke is just sort of standing on the top of some of this rubble, hand leaning on the side of their sword that's still in the scabbard, just sort of looking way too how do I put it this way? It's way too obvious that they're trying to look cool.
Yeah.
As I believe
it's Sasuke's turn.
It is Sasuke's turn, yeah. As he sort of grabs his sword as it begins to envelop in lightning, and he then goes in for a massive electricity slash.
Wow. That's kind of rude.
How would you like to react?
I'm gonna use... My plan is to basically create, energy whips to essentially bind him and then just toss him to the floor.
Fair enough.
As he's coming at me.
Roll it.
Cool.
Dice roll da.
29.
As you sort of generate these whips and he sort of slashes, you do get like hit in the arm as it sort of like does cut into the sort of Storm God's visage for a bit, as you then are eventually able to wrap it around him and then just finally slam him to the ground. As you do indeed, like, basically what happens is it doesn't get him where you wanted it to. It actually wraps around the top of his head, but you then sort of like pull it back as he slams into the ground face first, as the lightning still doesn't dissipate. Like, even though you've done it, like, you've slammed him into the ground with this, like, energy whip around his head, he still has not let go, as, like, it actually keeps burrowing into the arm, as you then just hear the words, "Enough! He has won this," as the lightning current eventually stops, tearing through the armor.
As his lightning stops, I'll undo the binds around him.
As you're all standing, lying, or even enveloped in this crater, Lord, the non-clone of Lord, anyway, is standing over this crater, just sort of with his arms crossed, going, right, well, let's get you guys out of this. As some of you are pulled out, Lord then uses a telekinetic ability to sort of lift the Standroid out of this and place it back, standing up in the outside of it. As he then sort of like moves his arm in a very sort of specific set of movements. They're very tightly executed, as then the earth sort of like moves, solidifies itself, and then it's as if none of that actually ever happened on the ground. Well done. You passed it, at least. Innovative.
I like the least part.
Well, I've never seen someone try to be as environmental as you have. Although, then again, it's been a while since I've seen anyone go through the trials. So, again, well done. So, now that this is it, I guess the last one is to explain to you that despite reservations, we would like to at least offer you the opportunity for the third trial. But I will just let you know beforehand. Now that you have passed the first two trials, you are officially indoctrinated into the Ushima clan. You are, and will be, one of our kin. We will allow you to read of our archives, learn of our techniques, and even perhaps stay in any of our residences. Of course, if we have any left. It is something that I stated that I wished, as many of the rules that I wrote before I passed away, all some 55 years ago. So, now that it is good to actually see how this works, that I have seen someone that I would say that I trust, that has been indoctrinated into the family that even my grandchildren trust. It is good to know that it is in the right hands, this blessing. That being said, you do not have to undergo the third trial. I will say, according to the memories of my descendants, so far, only 2 non-blood relatives to this clan have been allowed to take this trial, and I do believe that you are a capable candidate.
I mean, thank you, first part, for the allowance of this to begin with. But I have to be honest, you've gotten me curious with the third trial. The way you describe it sounds a bit different from these first two, so I would like to take it, if you will allow me the honor.
You must be aware of something. The trial that you would go through is more of a mental trial. It is to harden your mind and your will. You have already hardened your physical form, your body, and then your spiritual form, your soul, but you have yet to form your mind, your will manifest. I will warn you that in this particular trial, it is 2 parts. You must first pass the trial, and then to truly be indoctrinated, you must go through a final ritual, which only some of the most select few of the clan would be allowed to undertake.
I mean, this is just making me even more curious. So.
During this test, you will also have to undergo great sacrifice.
Well,
I'm not saying this to
not
scare
like I
you.
haven't done that before, so.
I'm not saying this to scare you, but it is something that you must be aware of.
I feel like I've come this far. Let's do the whole thing.
Very well.
What do you get for passing the 3rd trial? What's the point?
Let's just say, if you pass the 3rd trial, you are given something that has been passed down for the last 3 generations. But it's more than that. It's a promise that I once gave to my first son. And it was a promise that I recently discovered that I was able to still keep, even after I passed away. What you would be getting from us is more than just our people, our kindness. You would be getting our knowledge. The truest depths of our knowledge. I want to point out, only a few of the kin have even unlocked the truest depths of the knowledge. For you to do this, you would have to undergo the trial and then go through the great sacrifice. If you did so, all there is that we can offer is yours. Both physically, literally, and perhaps maybe even secretly, I guess you could say, soulfully.
I do like the sound of that.
I thought that you might. Well, there's one last trial that you must take then. It seems as though that we must do this. So, you are a learner of willpower of the mind. You're a master of it, so far of what I've learned, but there are a couple of things that you aren't fully aware or capable of just yet.
Well, there is always more to learn.
And
I
there will
suppose
be...
you have something more specific.
Absolutely, there will be more time for that. But there is something that you must undergo. Some learn the ability of iron will, some eventually go on to learn denial, others focus more into their instincts, others their insightfulness, others their intellect, or others the protection against madness, or predictive capabilities, or all sorts of things. The mind is powerful when you hone it. So, today, you are going to learn probably one of the most important things about the mind. Although that you can remember things through your mind, the mind can also recreate possibility. It can build upon these experiences and create an amalgamation of different possible outcomes, even embedding them into dreams, making you dream of people or beings that you've never met before, because that they're an amalgamation of memories and thoughts and feelings, and even your imagination of all of those different experiences and past people. So if that's the case, your mind is a near limitless pool of possibility for your powers, for your techniques, for your individuality. What I'm trying to get at is that we could tap into that. We could unlock many things. And today we're going to at least try one of them. I'm going to use a connectivity capability through the mind. I would like you to use your power of the soul to connect with me.
Well, alright then.
As he sort of holds his hand out in sort of like a sort of way for you to like clasp his hand.
Yeah, I'll clasp it and then I'll activate the ability.
And he shall with his. As his strange-looking eyes begin to glow even greater. Roll willpower. Spirit. Or specifically for that technique.
This only needs a 10 or above, this one.
Awesome.
Yes, just.
2 berries.
Yeah.
The dice bot is really testing patience today. I mean, yes, it works, obviously, but...
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad these are all 10s, not 15s. That's
Yeah. Anyway, so as you do that, you interlock into his, and you begin to see his past experiences through him, as you can feel his soul resonating with yours. You feel that, like, he is both a telepath and a copier, an observer, and there are many abilities and techniques that you can't even tell which are the abilities that he learned or he created. As you're passing through this, you also notice that he is a master of the willpower path of the mind. And as you're seeing this, you're then seeing his eyes looking into your soul. And as that happens, you notice that he links to one of your abilities. And then suddenly you're in a different world. As reality warps around you. As you're no longer standing in the dojo, you're standing somewhere else in a plane of pure, bright, glowing sort of pink essence beneath you, and a void of absolute nothing above you. He lets go of your hand.
Well, certainly an interesting place you took me to.
This is not a place, or more specifically, it's not actually a location. It's more of a thought. This is a telepathic ability that I created a while back, but I was able to connect it with my own mind capabilities, and connect it to one of yours. One that I sense that you have not used, either in a long time or ever. So today I'm going to give you something to work for. You have the opportunity to use your abilities of your mind so well that I could teach you any amount of different abilities or techniques. I could train you, I could fight you again, using and requiring you to only wield the powers of your mind to enhance your own physical capabilities or anything else like that, but to be entirely honest, there's no reason for it. Instead, I can get you to come up with your most difficult challenges. And I think that I've already seen one. Because before you met my kin, you saw a visage of your best friend killed multiple times after your uncle was trying to take you there to a place for you to unlock your memories. Eventually you came to terms through the emotions and realities of the multiverse, which, as crazy as it is for me to say that, it also made me realize that perhaps closure is important for you to move on as an individual. So I think I have something. You never got to fight Yokaiga, one-on-one, and never got to truly beat him.
Right.
Well, to my understanding, you clashed spirits with him multiple times. I am a telepath who has the ability of observing different abilities and powers. I'm sure I could cook something up within your mind, in which that this would create a mind space for you to fight.
I mean, don't get me wrong, sounds fun and all, but what does this achieve?
It makes us realize that despite everything that you are able to do, there are still things that you are still not fully aware of. You need to be able to have closure on this. But also, I think that you need to understand, as far as your will is able to go, your mind needs to come up with the next best thing. Your creativity is not exactly running dry, but perhaps your memory needs to recreate positivity, negativity, or even perhaps imagination mixing with the remarkable remembrances of your defeats. You have been defeated only a few times ever since you've come to this place, and yet you've had countless battles. And you're wondering why that there's any reason or point to this. Well, I say, reminding yourself of how those fights felt. Perhaps learning and unlocking what it is to be. So perhaps you could fight him, you could fight me, you could even fight anyone else that you've fought before that you never got to beat in the end. Either way, perhaps bridging that gap can make you further understand people.
Like goes into, you know, the thinking pose where it's just sort of walking back and forth, trying to consider all of his encounters that he's had and the most memorable ones. I think it would be clearly obvious to Lord that he is struggling on what to pick.
He sort of smirks to himself and just sort of chuckles a bit.
Can't see why he wouldn't be able to beat any of. Can't see why I wouldn't be able to beat any of them, really. Yeah. Who has stood out the most?
Do you really believe yourself of that highly, that you wouldn't at least even have the possibility of losing to any of your previous encounters?
You're a telepath, you tell me.
I feel like I already know the answer.
Well, there you get it.
Okay, very well. Then in that case, why don't I find out for myself? This is of your mind, so if I am able to try and create something from your memories and your remembrances of something, it is therefore your will that is actually enforcing this capacity against your opponents. So I will take these memories of your fights, and I will throw one of them at you, and if you are able to beat any of the ones that had already beaten you, it means that you have at least grown mentally.
Ooh! I know one. I never really figured out what his techniques were or anything like that, so I don't know how easy you'd be able to make them. But the guy in the suit, the one I met that night.
He then
I want something like him. It doesn't have to be him, but something of that scale, something new, not something of my memories. No, I need something grander than those. Make something new of everything that you know of me, something that completely outscales me beyond everything. That's what I want to fight.
Let me have a look. He then looks through your memories of the man in the suit, as you claim, as he looks over. Interesting. Even seeing of your way in which that you sense this man's energy, he is stronger than you've ever seen before, but I've never seen something like this. He claims himself to be... That's impossible. Claims himself to be a version of a god who took a version of your body and put it in his soul into that, but he's then severed his connection to the multiple variants of himself. Are you sure this guy wasn't just on a lot of drugs and made you...
I would believe that if it wasn't for the amount of power that I sense from him, and the fact that Apparently, I knew people who turn out to be real, like Phileas, so,
I mean, he could just be a telepath, and he's just tricked you into believing that he's this powerful.
I don't get that feeling from him.
Okay, let me have a look. I think that there might be a possibility of it. If I take the current factors of what we already know from him, and then we take other factors of other people that you fought, I might be able to see something. Without actually being able to bridge the gaps, I don't think there's much that I can actually use.
Like I said, you don't have to recreate him specifically. More something of that power, if that makes sense.
I'd have to say it's fascinating to know that there's even people out there that I've yet to see. Okay. I think I might have an idea. Well, if we take some of these aspects here, and we run these through it, I think I've got an idea. I'm going to create a telepathic projection of myself into your mind. You'll have to fight me with everything that you've got. You'll get to see everything I can do. However, during this time that you'll be fighting me, you are not able to use any of your willpower techniques to expel me from your mind. If you do, the entire simulation is gone. You'll still be able to use every other asset of your abilities and even your willpower of the mind techniques. And since I'll also be in your mind, there'll also be a little peeking from me. Despite this, I will have equal to your own capabilities and vitality whilst I'm in your mind space, so therefore I'm of equal terms to you whilst also having all of my own abilities for me. It's basically an opponent that keeps on adapting and has every advantage even though that they're in your domain. Or mental domain.
Sounds interesting.
I guess I could also be using this time to use a special other ability. I wonder if it'll work in this. He then claps his hands together and places them in a very strange sort of way, as suddenly, like, the darkness sort of appears with eyes all over it.
Oh, this again.
Fascinating. Whilst I'm inside of your mind space, I can actually multiply the possibility of all of your memories by 8 times whilst I'm in here. And since this ability lasts for up to 4 minutes out in the real world, technically this will last exactly the length of our battle, considering that the mind space will only last as long as a dream. I think that'll do. I will then have access to all abilities that you've ever seen. I will be able to use everyone else's special abilities and techniques, and because there's no barring or barriers to it, I shall also be able to use it through your own mental capacity. Meaning, I'll be able to use any and every technique that you've ever fought against. I'll have advantage while still being able to read your mind and read your memories. And as long as you don't dispel me using the mind techniques, we should be able to fight here of equal opportunity. I say equal, but we both know that that's not possible.
It wouldn't be any fun if it was. Alright. Well, I'm ready whenever.
Very well. As we come back to Stan, Stan and the Standroid, you are watching this. They're sort of clasping each other's hands while staring into each other's eyes. As suddenly, like a very strange sort of like energy barrier sort of goes around them, but basically it creates like this sort of black pit around them, and eyes sort of appear all over the sort of black orb. Well, they're going to be off doing that for a bit. Should we, do you need any, help with anything?
Do I need any help? Well, I have a few projects on the go. I may need your blood for something.
I mean, as a part of the Ushima clan, we're not exactly allowed to give out our blood to anyone who haven't actually undergone the trials.
Give it to an RK then?
He just sort of rolls his eyes and just goes, well, is there anything else that you might need?
You know much about technology?
Not exactly, except from the fact that my abilities might allow me to power technology.
Ooh, I have an idea.
So,
How long do you think they'll be?
I reckon we could sneak off.
Okay. I have a fancy machine I might want you to check out.
Okay, let's go for it. As you guys head off towards, I'm assuming, your lab?
Yeah, we'll get sandwiches first.
Okay. As we now come back to an arcade and Lord, roll me move speed.
Oh boy. $20.
We match.
Oh.
I'll say.
Does he? What's his modifier?
It's actually his modifier is also 5.
Oh wow, yeah, okay.
We'll roll again. Roll again.
Okay. Oh, that would be 10.
15.
Yeah.
So he'll go first. So the first thing that he does is he sort of opens his arms up as suddenly like his hair glows white as he then sort of transforms as he just sort of breathes in and goes, ah, this actually feels pretty good. This transformation of yours, it's fun.
Yeah, you can see what I like being in.
I can indeed. Oh, right. And also, as he then sort of cracks his knuckles, he suddenly increases his power even further, as suddenly you see like a little jolt of electricity go off of his hands when he cracks his knuckles. As he sort of like lets go, it's almost like his hand is a striking match, as suddenly like flame just comes off of it just ever so slightly for a second, as he then goes into a fighting stance, as it's now your turn.
Oh. So we're spending the turns buffing, I see. Very well. I shall go into my mastered form.
Okay.
So this is just purely for the willpower. 31.
Okay.
And yeah, you know what? I'll then roll for predictive instinct. I believe that's the yes, I believe that's the advanced technique variant.
Okay.
19.
Okay.
So I will also, while slightly hovering, prepare a fighting stance.
Okay. As he sort of looks at you, he just sort of chuckles to himself, ever so slightly, as he just goes, you know what, I've always wondered exactly, when it comes down to abilities like these, is that how far people are willing to push them, using their own powers and techniques. For instance, the transformation that I just used has already overdone the original transformation that you have. But it still allows me to do this, as he pushes his hand forward, and a massive sort of burst of fire erupts from his hand.
Well, I feel like there's only one appropriate way to counter, which is I use my energy.
Fair enough.
In the same sort of fashion. I assume his roll beats a 19.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Uh, 16, so 31.
I got 32.
Ah.
Indeed. As he overpowers you with that, he will deal. If I can actually find it. Oh wow, okay. 60 points of damage.
Is that excluding the willpower deduction, I assume?
That is excluding it, so technically that would then take away 8 from 60, so that's 52. Half of 52 is then 26.
Okay. Am I at full health, by the way, or am I at
Yes,
what I started to... Okay.
So you now take 26 points of damage, and that is the end of his turn.
Yeah. Ooh. Alright then. Well, you know what, Lord? I don't know how well this could go for me. This might end the fight before it even begins, but I'll do something that I've only done to one other opponent.
Oh, you mean your strenuous form?
Indeed. I mean, first I'll roll for the continuation of the predictive instinct. Yep. And then she'll roll for the strenuous form, which succeeds.
Awesome. But for how long?
4 turns, baby.
Nice.
Alright. And as the first thing was a bonus action.
We still have an action left.
Yes. Actually, I still technically have another bonus action, correct? Because you get 2.
Yeah, if you want to use another one of your bonus actions.
I will do the same thing as I did before, where I'll create the armored visuals, but I'll make it like just cover me rather than the giant exosuit.
Okay, fair enough. You do so.
Alright. And I mean, I can't let them get away with that, so I will go for an energy blast once again.
Okay, roll for it.
Natural 20 with a 35.
Natural 20 as well. So I'll say we both clash this.
Damage each other? Or do we?
You know what? Yeah, let's
just do damage.
Yeah, let's do damage each other. Yeah, I'll roll for my damage. Okay. You roll for yours.
So normally I do 8d6s, which is what, 4d12s. So this is doubled. I assume. Do I get the bonus of the double it again because of the natural 20?
If any part of your transformations have anything to do with pure techniques or anything like that, it doesn't get doubled. Or if you have anything that,
well, because the strenuous form naturally times is everything by 2.
I'd say then in that case it is just multiplying it by another 2.
So could I just do crit damage then?
It's like just max damage instead of...
Yeah, just max damage.
If you want, yeah.
Okay, because I would believe... I assume at least for the energy damage it would be crit, and then the willpower would be...
Yeah, the willpower's
not
normal.
So, okay, if it's 4d12s normally, it'd be 8d12s.
Yeah.
Which I was 812s. Gotta pull out a calculator here.
96.
Okay, and then what's half of 96? 48. So 96 plus 48. Which would be 144.
Yep.
And then I need to roll my willpower damage. which is just 4d6s plus 8. So 144 plus 26. So 170. And also Joe, if he doesn't do 96 damage to me, he can't hurt me, because that would also be what my Susanoo or my Stormlord's armor thing would be.
Okay, so that's 144 plus, what was it again, 26?
26, yeah, so 170 in total.
Wow, okay, nice. Yeah, he definitely does that. He definitely does less than that, because...
Also, it would be halved again, because it has the willpower for it, so...
Yeah, so, let me put it this way. It does 28, which... barely does anything to you. I got the worst crit. So because of its reaction, I can't crit the damage. But I got a 4 on the multiplier for amplification, and I was able to go, okay, multiply that by 4, 2d12 multiplied by 4, and I got a 7 out of the damage.
No.
So therefore, it was 28.
Wow.
Yeah. So as you get.
So what is that? Oh, is that in like after being halved, or is that?
No, that's before being halved. That's before.
Oh, so it only takes 10 in total then.
Well, technically, the Storm God's Visage. Yeah. So So the Storm God's Visage does get hit for 10 points of damage. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Because obviously, the way that the armament works is that it's pushed out onto it. So obviously, because it works on the Storm God's Visage, if it breaks through that, you then can't half it again once it hits you. But again,
yes,
it's already on the thing. But you deal 170 points of damage. As this suddenly causes great deals of damage to Lord, as he's just sort of standing there, just sort of like completely burned to a crisp for a second there, just covered in so much damage. It's like parts of his body are sort of invisible now, like chunks of him are being erased from this dimension, as he just sort of looks at chunks of him, as even a part of his eye is missing and stuff, as he looks at his burned off chunks of his hands. Now that is, yep, that's definitely something. I'll give you credit.
I know you can heal, Lord, so how about you get rid of those injuries and we continue, huh?
Very well. But I was kind of hoping that I could just pretend to be the weakling for once.
Well, considering you craft this to be apparently something actually worthy of my time, I hope you start actually living up to it.
Well, fine then. As then immediately his whole body begins to heal, as you see parts of him return, and then the burned charcoal that was his body parts then immediately heal back up, as all pieces of him now return into this world. As then suddenly you see a burst of green energy come from his chest. As I said, all of them. All of them! All of them! As then he begins healing faster and faster. The green energy that bursts from his chest is then accompanied with blue and red flames that burst from his hands and from his head. As suddenly, when it dissipates, he is fully restored. You have seen some incredible abilities, my man. And I mean incredible. I mean a phoenix man who can heal people from death. An individual who has the power of soul manipulation. And even combined with the 2 immortals that I found from my time. And only just then was I able to restore most of the damage you even dealt to me. That is impressive. Definitely. Bravo, well done.
Well, thank you. Let's hope you can keep this up, though. Wouldn't want this to be over too soon.
Cheeky. I like it. Keep that going. Now let's see if I can go a little bit further. Stacked observation. As he claps his hands together, an orb appears in his hand. But then as he opens his hands further, another orb and another orb and another orb of different elements appear. I think this should do. As 5 different orbs of different elements, energy, what looks to be lightning, fire, darkness, and even something that looks as if it's like condensed space, as he then clashes them all together and fires them out into a beam towards you.
Oh, cool. In that case, then, I'm going to attempt to use the portal ability to redirect it behind him so he gets shot with his own attack.
Fair enough. Roll for reaction. I just got a message from Juice. Hey guys, what's your rolling? And then just doing a mini session. Nice.
Wow. Well, I can tell you it automatically hits, so because the ability doesn't even activate. So
yeah. As this will deal.
Curious.
53 points of damage. As when it hits you, you're like, that's as it cracks and immediately bursts through into the armor and hits you directly, piercing right through you. Ah, you are magnificent. I mean, really, truly. But if you're really willing to push me that much further, you're going to have to try a little bit harder than that.
Well, alright then. As a bonus action, I would like to pull out Swartle.
Okay.
And I'm going to dash towards Lord. I'm going to use my usage style against him.
Ooh, okay.
Should I get to roll advantage on both?
Yes.
Please miss.
As he dashes, as you dash towards him, he goes, "Now that's incredible speed. What do you call this move?"
So a 30 is my highest.
Okay, nice. Yeah, so, it definitely hits. Roll damage.
So, this would be 16 d6s, plus Swartle, which is 11. But then half of that, which is 45, I believe.
Okay.
It was. And then it's plus another 16 d6s, plus 45. But then it's plus 46s from Swartle. And then it's plus 46s of willpower. Plus 8. Yes, I believe that's everything. Yeah, so 253.
Yeah, okay, cool. So you remember when I said it definitely hits?
Yeah, it doesn't.
Well, no, it definitely hits something. I never said it definitely hits him.
Hits me.
As when you do this, the sword slams against him, and you're sort of like, yeah, this is definitely gonna, without a doubt, cut into his head, as he just goes, "As I said, what do you call this ability?"
Why are you asking me? You already know the answer.
Because I want to know the ability that I just... Well, you'll get it in a minute. As suddenly you feel like a strange press against your neck, as when you realise you've hit against mirrored space. As
you cheap motherfucker.
Oh, that's an interesting... As the blade cuts right through your own head, severing you into two pieces, the lower portion and the head portion. As when this finally happens, you awaken as suddenly the darkness dispels and you are currently still holding Lord's hand as he lets go of you, and you sort of like go to the ground for a second, like holding your neck, because again, to all pain extensive, you feel like you've just died, and now you're just awoken from a dream, and you're perfectly fine.
Oh man, feels weird.
I don't think that I've ever felt power of that magnitude. And I went against many of the strongest fighters in my time multiple times. I fought in wars and devastational despots and all kinds of people claiming themselves to be gods, but I have to admit, even when I used that imaginary boost, I was technically feeding on your memories to gain that power. I don't know if I can take all of the credit for that.
It's so weird to be decapitated. I mean, mind you, it's the second time.
Despite this, I feel like I should at least engage you with this. You've definitely passed the trial.
Oh, really? I lost it.
You did, but something reminded me. You remember when you hit me with that attack? That large beam that practically burned me out?
Yes.
Despite everything that I have, my two most powerful abilities of healing, I can use them at the same time, but I had to copy 5. I had to copy 3 abilities that you'd learned from your own memories. In other words, I basically cheated. I wouldn't have been able to recover that much health, and even then, I only recovered enough to actually be on similar stomping ground to you again. Realistically, I wouldn't have been able to recover that quickly, had it not been for that exact circumstance.
It's not cheating. I agree to those rules. And anyway, if I had used Phantom Zone, I would have been able to live past that anyway, so my fault for rushing in head first. But I got too comfortable.
Still, you realized something, didn't you? That as much as you and I are of different levels, regardless of whether or not it's in or out of the world, there's no easy answer for just one winner. There are points in which combat in which that I could beat you, and there are points in combat in which that you could beat me. It's another reason why I actually trust you. You don't seem to look at me in the same form of wanting to kill me. You look at me as an interesting combatant, rather than someone as more of a person to put your heel onto. And then again, I think of you the same way. I've gotten around in my life being some of the most dangerous and some of the most powerful. But when I saw you and when I met your team, it made me realize that the world has truly changed. Perhaps it's you who has changed me, or perhaps it is I that has changed you and your outlook. I'm not entirely sure yet.
I think it's a bit of both. That tends to be what happens with mind-melded soul manipulation stuff.
Oh, well, I'll have to ask you to tell me more about that after you've already finished your tributal ceremony. Because now there's only one last thing left. You have already passed this. I cannot doubt that. Your mind is strong, and I also felt that it was almost as equally possible for you to continue getting stronger. The words emotional power kept ringing through your head. That wasn't even the last of your strength. You could have done something much more.
Well, you'd had to have damaged me a bit more for that to be of use, but yeah, it's far from my pinnacle.
Yeah. I thought so. Either way, despite that, I'd say that you at least got it. So, heck, there you go. Despite that, I also predicted what you were doing. I was able to see exactly what you were doing and move accordingly. And I knew that if I hadn't have used that ability to redirect your attack back at you, I would have died. So, you know what? I feel like no matter what had been the outcome, you would have gotten the win.
I mean, I don't see it that way, but... Oh, for the trial, right, okay. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
Yes, yeah. Anyway, so, the last thing is, and I must ask this of you. The last part of the trial, or should I say the second part to this final trial, is you must give up something. A sacrifice. Now, as I said before, there are many ways in which that people can consider sacrifices, whether it's personal, social, but this one is a lot more literal. You must sacrifice something of yours to gain something of ours.
Okay, what is this sacrifice exactly?
Anarche, I know that you're not exactly the most intelligent individual I've ever met.
Oh, is it the eye thing?
Yes, it's the eye thing. So, my question to you, Anarche, is... will you give up your eyes to see through mine? And that is where we shall end this session. Thank you very much for everyone who has been listening. This has been the Dev Plays The Crucible of Avarice using the Animite Tales tabletop RPG. Please check out the hashtag Animite Tales on YouTube to watch or listen to any of our episodes, or obviously check out the game if you are interested in tabletop RPG systems and want to play ours, as it is open on their website and also is free at animitetales.com. Thank you very much for listening, and as always, have a wonderful night. Oh, nobody else said bye. I'm just so used to everyone saying bye.
No,
no, done.